In the Obioha household, the bond between the parents and their daughters was complicated. Their father, Papa Nwafo, was a man of few words, but carried a stern authority. He believed in the customs of their people and often reminded Nwaamaka and Chinelo about the importance of family reputation. Their mother, Mama Nwafo, was the opposite, warm and talkative, though her words often carried an edge that cut deeper than she intended. The sisters grew up under their mother's sharp tongue and their father's quiet judgment. Mama Nwafo, while loving in her way, was particularly hard on Nwaamaka. Nwaamaka, you are the older sister, Mama would say. How do you expect to marry if you don't make yourself more appealing? Look at Chinelo. Just take a look at your sister. Always cheerful, always well-dressed, looking beautiful, slaying. Is it by sitting around with a frown that suitors will come? Nwaamaka learned to endure these comments in silence, but they festered in her heart like an untreated wound. Chinelo, for her part, didn't realize how much these comparisons hurt her sister. She was her older sister, but her mother's favoritism drove a subtle wedge between them. When Obinna brought his marriage proposal, the family's reaction was telling. "This is a wonderful news," Mama Nwafo exclaimed, clapping her hands. "Chinelo, you are bringing honor to this family." Nwaamaka sighed silently, her face a mark of indifference, but her heart burned with resentment. "Nwaamaka," Papa Nwafo said, his deep voice cutting through the chatter, "you should be happy for your sister." "I am, Papa, I am happy," Nwaamaka said quietly, forcing a smile. But inside, she thought, happy? How can I be happy when I'm being left behind? That evening, after Obinna and his uncle left, the sisters sat in their shared room. Their parents had been jubilant, already discussing the bride price and the debate for the traditional wedding. "Amaka," Chinelo said, her voice soft, "are you truly happy for me?" Nwaamaka hesitated, caught off guard. She looked at her younger sister, whose wide innocent eyes made her feel an uncomfortable mix of guilt and anger. "What kind of question is that?" "Of course I am," she said, though the words felt bitter on her tongue. Chinelo smiled, reaching out to hug her. "Thank you, big sis. I love you. I was worried you might feel..." "Few words," Nwaamaka interrupted, her voice sharper than what she had intended. Nothing, Chinelo said quickly, pulling back. Nwaamaka turned away, pretending to arrange her clothes, but her mind was already spinning. As the days passed, Nwaamaka grew bolder in her efforts to disrupt Chinelo's engagement. She began confiding in her mother, knowing exactly how to manipulate her words. "Mama, I don't think Chinelo is ready for marriage," she said one afternoon as they settled melon seeds. Mama Nwafo looked up sharply. "What nonsense are you saying? Chinelo is more than ready. It's just that she still has those childish habits," Nwaamaka said, her voice laced with concern. "What if Obinna gets tired of her? It will bring shame to the family." Mama Nwafo paused, her lips curled. While she adored Chinelo, she was also deeply afraid of public embarrassment. "I will speak to her," she said finally. Later that evening, Mama Nwafo called Chinelo aside. "You have to be careful, Chinelo," she said. "Marriage is not a game. Are you really sure you are ready for this? I hear you have been acting childish. Don't bring disgrace to this family." Chinelo was stunned. told you this? What kind of statement is that? Does it matter? Just make sure you behave yourself, Mama snapped. Chinelo's confusion quickly turned to frustration. She began to notice how little things she did were criticized more harshly, and it began to wear on her confidence. One night, Nwamaka decided to take her plan to the next level. She sneaked into Chinelo's room and took one of her wrappers, tearing a small piece from it. The next morning, she went to see a well-known but secretive herbalist who lived on the outskirts of the village. "Nwamaka, why have you come?" the old woman asked, her voice low and gravely. "I need your help," Nwamaka said, handing over the piece of wrapper. "I don't want my sister to marry before me. I am the elder sister and I deserve to get married before her." The herbalist raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure about this? It sounds like you are jealous. Envy is a dangerous part, my dear." "I will pay whatever it takes," Nwamaka said firmly. "Just make sure my sister does not get married before me. I am the older sister. I must get married before her." The herbalist nodded and began to chant, throwing powders into the air. She handed Nwamaka a small bottle of dark liquid. "Pour this in her food or drink. It will make Obinna lose interest in her entirely. But be warned, what you sow, you shall reap." Nwamaka ignored the warning, clutching the bottle tightly as she left. Over the next few days, Nwamaka waited for the right moment. She poured the concoction into Chinelo's soup one evening, her hands trembling slightly. That same week, Obinna began to act strangely towards Chinelo. He became distant, avoiding Chinelo and making excuses to visit. Chinelo was heartbroken, and the house grew tense as their parents tried to understand what was happening. One afternoon, Chinelo confronted Obinna. "What is going on, Obim? Why are you avoiding me?" "I don't even know," he said, looking genuinely confused. "Something just doesn't feel right anymore. I think we should just call off this engagement. I don't think I love you anymore, Chinelo," he said. Chinelo was devastated, and Nwamaka pretended to comfort her, though inside she felt a twisted sense of triumph. But Nwamaka's victory would be short-lived, as the truth always finds its way to the surface. The once lively Obioha household, now clouded with sorrow, Chinelo barely spoke to anyone after Obinna broke off the engagement, retreating her to room most of the days. Mama Nwafo walked around the compound with a permanent frown, muttering under her breath about how shameful it was for a man to embarrass their family this way. Papa Nwafo, though silent as usual, began to look older, his shoulders hunched, as if carrying the weight of the family's disappointment. Nwamaka, meanwhile, wore a mask of quiet concern, carefully hiding her satisfaction. One evening, as they all gathered around the fire for dinner, Mama Nwafo broke the silence. "Nwamaka," she said, pointing her spoon at her eldest daughter, "you're the one who always sees everything. Did you notice anything strange about Obinna before the nonsense started?" Nwamaka paused, caught off guard. She hadn't expected her mother to involve her. "Mama, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't as serious as we thought. You know how men can be these days." Mama Nwafo shook her head. "Men don't change their minds like that. Something is not right here. She turned to Chinelo, whose swollen eyes revealed that she had been crying unstoppably. Chinelo, my dear, did you offend him in any way? No, Mama, Chinelo said quietly. I don't even understand what happened. How can someone who confessed his love to me, does everything for me, all of a sudden doesn't even want to look at my face anymore? Papa Nwafo cleared his throat, his voice cutting through the heavy air. Enough. Let's just eat in peace. Whatever that is happening, we'll find a way to fix it. It's okay, my daughter. Eat your food. The next morning, Mama Nwafo and Nwamaka made their way to the Dibia Okore's hut, a small mud structure surrounded by a thick forest. The air felt heavy as they approached, and the sound of bird song seemed to fade away. Dibia Okere, an elderly man with piercing eyes, sat on the mat, surrounded by calabashes and cowries. He looked up as they entered. Welcome, Mama Nwafo, he said, his voice calm but commanding. What brings you here? Mama Nwafo knelt before him. Dibia, Pico, my family is in trouble. My younger daughter engagement was broken for no reason. I need to know what is behind this. Onyene memi ha. Dibia Okere nodded and gestured for them to sit. He began to chant, throwing cowries onto a mat and examining their arrangement. As he walked, Nwamaka's palm grew sweaty. She stared at the floor, avoiding his gaze. After a long silence, Dibia Okere spoke. There is envy in your household. Mama Nwafo frowned. Envy? From where? In my house? Dibia Okere's eye rested on Nwamaka, who felt her heart stop. The elder daughter, her hands are not clean. What are you saying? Mama Nwafo asked, looking between the healer and her daughter. Dibia Okere picked up a cowrie and held it out. She sought help to destroy her sister's engagement. The spirits do not lie. Back at the compound, chaos erupted. Mama Nwafo dragged Nwamaka into the middle of the yard, her voice trembling with rage. Nwamaka, is this true? How can you do something so despicable? Did you really do this to your own sister? I can't believe a daughter of mine can do something like this. Nwamaka fell on her knees, tears streaming down her face. Mama, please. I didn't mean for it to go this far. You didn't mean what? Mama shouted. Do you know the shame you have brought to this family? How could you be this wicked? Do you know the trauma, the days of crying your sister has undergone? Chinelo stood at the doorway, her face pale with shock. Amaka, why would you do this to me? I remember I asked you if you were okay with this marriage, big sis. Why would you do this to me? Nwamaka looked up at her sister, her voice breaking. I was afraid, Chinelo. Afraid that I would never marry. All the men always come to you. Everybody, how is Chinelo? Oh, everybody asking me, your sister is really beautiful. Give me her number. Nobody was looking my way. Everyone praises you and forgets about me. I couldn't take it anymore. Chinelo shook her head, tears in her eyes. So you decided to destroy my own happiness, big sis. Papa Nwafo, who had been silently observing, finally spoke. This is a disgrace, Nwamaka. You have brought dishonor to this family. And you must face what you have broken. No, I can't believe you would do something like this. The family agreed that Nwamaka would return to the herbalist and undo the curse. But when she arrived, the herbalist warned her that the process would not be easy. You must confess your actions publicly. The woman said, only then can the curse be lifted. Nwamaka hesitated, thinking about the embarrassment she would face publicly and what people would think about her after the confession. But she knew she had no choice. The next village meeting was held under the large iroko tree, and Nwamaka stood before the gathered crowd. With trembling hands, she confessed everything: the jealousy, the sabotage, and the curse. Gasps and murmurs filled the air as the villagers listened. Chinelo, who stood beside her parents, couldn't look at her sister in the eyes. She was just crying. When Nwamaka finished, the village elders pronounced her punishment. She was to work for Obinna's family for 6 months as a way of making amends. It was a humiliating sentence, but Nwamaka accepted it. Over time, the family began to heal. Chinelo and Obinna reconciled, though their relationship took months to rebuild. Nwamaka, humbled by her experience, worked tirelessly to earn back her sister's trust as a maid in their house. Maka, Chinelo said one evening as they sat outside, I forgive you. I know it can be really embarrassing for a woman when it's time for her to get married and she doesn't see the suitors coming. But you are my sister. And it's also good to have a good heart, because when you have a good heart, good things always come your way. But I hope you have learned that envy only destroys. It never builds, it destroys, my sister. And I believe that someday, a man that is deserving of you and that you are also deserving of will come your way, my sister. I have learnt my lesson, Nwamaka said quietly. I am sorry for everything, my sister. Years later, Nwamaka found love with a widower who admired her newfound humility and strength. She and Chinelo remained close, their bond stronger than ever. The tale of the two sisters became a lesson in Ebe village, a reminder that envy is a poison best avoided. And so, the Obioha family found peace once again, their stories serving as a testament to the power of forgiveness and the strength of sisterhood. Hi besties! We have come to the end of this amazing tale. Let me know your thoughts about the story. And do you think the senior sister in the family must get married before the younger one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so you'll never miss whenever I post a new story. Till I come your way next time. Bye.